There are nearly 200 countries in the world, each with its own set of laws that citizens must follow. Some of these laws might seem quite unusual. For instance, in certain parts of Greece, wearing high heels is prohibited, while in Samoa, forgetting your wife's birthday is illegal. But what if I told you that's a place on Earth with no laws at all, and is not a country but an entire continent? Welcome to Antarctica. That's exactly what I'd say. If you manage to save enough and spend at least $8,000 to travel to the South Pole, technically, there are no laws in Antarctica because, as I mentioned, it isn't a country. Therefore, it doesn't have its own laws. It's similar to being in international waters. If there were laws in Antarctica, it would mean it's a sovereign territory under the control of one or more governments. Sorry to disappoint those with ambitions of power, but this continent isn't up for grabs. 7 countries, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, France, Chile, Norway, Australia, and Argentina have territorial claims in the region, and yes, there are people living there right now. So how does it all work? Antarctica is treated as Kongspor no man's land, and the world powers intend to keep it that way in practice. Antarctica is governed by the international scientific community. As researchers work and conduct studies there, this cooperation is possible thanks to the 1959 Antarctic Treaty, which set the rules for the continent. To be honest, the treaty is very exciting. It essentially states that Antarctica must remain neutral and includes basic information about its territorial status. That's it. Nothing particularly useful for regular travelers like you and me. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Right, before traveling somewhere, it's a good idea to know a few details about your destination. For example, fueras. In Singapore, chewing gum can get you in serious trouble, or in Tajikistan. Adult men are not allowed to wear shorts in public. Now, let's say you've managed to save up, bought the warmest coat you could find, and finally decided to venture to this place. What do you need to know, and what should you avoid doing? It all starts with how you pack. One crucial tip for visiting Antarctica is to follow the Don't Bring Pests rule. Strict procedures are in place to prevent the introduction of non-native species to the environment. Most of these non-native species are plants, about 121, including fungi. However, some people have managed to bring in 70. 2 invertebrate species, 8 mammals, and 3 bird species. Even worms have been introduced to Antarctica. Every time a new species arrives in the region, it risks becoming invasive if it survives the extreme cold. Invasive species tend to thrive in new environments because they lack natural predators. For example, Hylas, the brown tree snake, was accidentally brought to Guam in the 1940s or 1950s with no local predators and an abundance of birds and rodents to prey on. The snake population quickly exploded, leading to the extinction of 9 out of 11 native furry bird species on the island. The bad reputation of invasive species is well deserved, both for animals and plants. To keep Antarctica's plant list from growing, strict hygiene rules are in place. Everything you bring must be washed decontaminated and inspected daily. For instance, Velcro on your clothing can harbor plants, so it's vacuumed to ensure you don't carry unwanted seeds. Once you arrive, be prepared for a more primitive environment. You won't be able to take a proper shower in Antarctica, whether you were there for a day or 50 days. No running water, so get ready to use wet wipes and bid farewell to conventional toilets. It all comes down to using a bucket and then sending the solid waste to New Zealand for proper disposal. If you want to stay hydrated, don't eat the snow besides being protected. It might make you thirstier. It's better to melt ice for drinking water. As for food, you won't need a refrigerator. The extreme cold is enough to keep your supplies fresh. Regarding wildlife, it may be challenging to spot animals as a tourist, but if you're lucky enough to see them, resist the temptation to feed them. It's prohibited to feed, touch, or handle birds and seals, as well as to approach or photograph them in ways that interfere with their behavior. Additionally, their stomachs might not tolerate what you have to offer. Another thing to be cautious about is lichens. When we think of Antarctica, we usually imagine a vast field of snow with some dark rocks sticking out. But believe it or not, plants grow there, including grasses, mosses, and lichens. These plants grow slowly, especially with 6 months of total darkness and temperatures dropping to minus 20 degrees C, even in summer. So it's crucial to watch where you step. Avoid walking on lichens, as they are essential to Antarctica's ecosystem. Also, don't leave objects on the ground, as a rule to prevent disturbance of the local biodiversity. Snow is just as protected as lichens. You can't take it or make snow angels. And, of course, no snowball fights. there is a small loophole in the law, those specific areas allow for some fun. You can bend the rules if there are no penguin colonies within 20 kilometers of a place called Portal Point, practically when you're there, in the United Kingdom. Portal Point is a narrow spot on the northeastern part of the Reclus Peninsula on the west coast of Graham Land. Lastly, when it comes to Antarctica's delicate balance, leave the rocks alone. Remember the butterfly effect. Even a small action can trigger a chain reaction. Everyone loves a souvenir, but if everyone takes a rock was, there won't be any left, so just to clarify, taking anything, be it rocks, feathers, bones, or even soil, is strictly prohibited. And if you come across something man-made, like scientific equipment, leave it where it is. If you find something interesting, like a fossil, take a picture and note its location. Scientists will appreciate it far more than you would, and you will get an amazing photo. It's a win. Win situation. That's it for today. If your curiosity was satisfied, leave a like and share this with your friends. And if you want more research, click on the videos and stay tuned to the channel.